Hello and welcome to the Awakened Path podcast. My name is Ashuna and I will be your guide as we navigate through the topics of spirituality, self-love, self-care, and I give you tips and techniques to help you navigate through this thing called life. Today's topic is all about spiritual awakening, tips and techniques on how to get started. I'm going to share a little bit about my own personal journey, and we're just going to discuss some things today, guys. We're just hanging out. This is our first episode. I am so excited to start this whole series with you guys because I know how important it is to have somebody that understands what you're going through, who can share their own personal struggles and stories and help you to better understand who you are, what you're about, and how you can navigate this whole journey because, it can be a doozy sometimes. Please excuse me while I read from my screen here for a moment because I want to read something to you verbatim. I don't want to mess it up. So, a spiritual awakening. This is kind of the definition of spiritual awakening for you. A spiritual awakening is defined as a profound shift in consciousness, often characterized by a heightened awareness of one's connection to a higher power, the universe, God, source, creator energy. It embarks you on a journey to find a deeper understanding of your true and authentic soul self. It leads to a significant change in perspective and worldviews, sometimes accompanied by feelings of profound peace, joy, or a sense of unity with all things. It is a very transformative experience that can occur through meditation, prayer, or even life-changing or altering events, such as the loss of a loved one or a near-death experience. So many different ways. So, since this might be your first time connecting with me, I'm going to give you guys a little bit about my story, my journey, how I started on my spiritual awakening path, and how I started to kind of tap in, connect, and then we'll kind of go over some things that you can do for yourself on your own personal journey. So, my journey started in July of 2017. And while, yes, all throughout my life, I've always been very intuitive, very empathic, just really kind of clicked. I mean, my mom used to share this story all the time about how there was a day when I was about maybe about the age of 5, and she needed to take a shower. She had somebody coming to the house, and she needed somebody to watch my younger brother. For the record, my brother's 2 years younger than me, so I remember I was sitting on the floor, I was watching cartoons, and apparently she was standing on the stairs trying to figure out what she should do. And I turned and I looked at her and I said, "Don't worry, I'll watch." And I said my brother's name. And we were just always very kind of in sync, so to speak. We just were able to kind of read each other's minds at times. So I've always been tapped in, clued in, whatever terms you'd like to use. But in July of 2017, I decided to embark on the journey of having my aura photo taken. And if you've never had your aura photo taken, basically what you do is you put your hands on these little metal pads. No, you don't get shocked or hurt in the process. You just put your hands on these metal pads and you think about who you want in your photo or what you want to have kind of show up around you. And they take this like Polaroid type photo that shows you all the colors in your energy field. So think of all these beautiful colors surrounding me right now in the background. And that's what an aura photo looks like. And depending upon your energy, there's going to be different colors that show up. It could be blue, purple, green, red, yellow, whatever color is in the rainbow, it could show up on this photo for you. So I found a metaphysical shop not far from my house, and they did aura photography there. So I was like, you know what? Let me go in, let me check this place out, let me get my aura photo taken. So I did. I walked in there, talked to this beautiful woman at the front desk and said, yeah, I want to get my aura photo taken. And so she goes and she sets me up on this little machine in the corner. And she's like, if there's anybody that you want in your picture, ask them to come and stand behind you. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, maybe, my mom's crossed over. And so I thought, maybe mom will show up, who knows, whatever. So I was like, okay, whoever wants to show up in this photo that's here helping me, show up. And so she takes the picture. And I walked around the store and I looked at crystals and knickknacks and all the different stuff they had in there while my photo was developing, because it takes a little bit of time, kind of like a Polaroid picture, for the photo to develop. So when the photo was done, I went up to the front desk and she's sitting here pointing out things in this picture to me. And then she's like, do you know you've got a lot of psychic energy around you? Do you know you're psychic? And I was like, hello, no, no, I am not psychic. I don't know what you're talking about. At this point in my life, I literally worked in what I call a cube farm. If you work in an office environment and you sit in a cubicle, you know what I'm talking about. And I was just like, I am not psychic. I don't know what she's talking about. If I was psychic, I would not be where I'm at right now. I'd be doing something completely different. But you know what? It's all good. I was like, oh, did not know that. And so it got me thinking as she's pointing things out in my photo. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I am psychic. So she proceeds to tell me, oh, you have 10 guides with you. And I was like, huh? I was like, I did not know the concept of spirit guides at this point. Like I said, I worked in a corporate environment. I was not a spiritual girly at this time. And so I was like, oh, 10 guides. Okay, very cool. Interesting. So I got out to the car and I kept looking at my photo and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, who is in this picture? This is kind of cool. But maybe, she says I'm psychic. Maybe I need to go and start taking their psychic development class and see what happens. So that's what I did. I decided to start taking their class. Now, it took me a while to get to a class because at the time I was working a job where I had to work one Saturday and one Sunday a month. And for whatever godforsaken reason, my weekends for my team I was on always landed on the day that this class was. And it was so aggravating. I was like, I just want to freaking go to this class. So I finally did go to this class and thoroughly enjoyed myself. Shout out to my first teacher that connected me to spiritual stuff, Miss Jamie. And we would do readings with oracle cards. She had all these Doreen Virtue decks. And Doreen Virtue is kind of like a not so great name to say in the spiritual community now after she's renounced all of her work. But at the time, you know, she had all these beautiful card decks and did all these cool things. And it was like, wow, okay. So I started doing readings and we would do different things in class. And before I knew it, I was like, oh, well, this is kind of cool. And this stuff I'm bringing up for people is resonating. So maybe I should take some other classes. And that's what I did. So I started taking all sorts of different classes. And I'd start going to this class that was every Wednesday night. With my now friend Neil, multi-dimensional healing, where he lays you on a massage table and he waves his hand all around you and he picks up your energy and your vibrations and he balances your chakras and tells you all sorts of weird and crazy things. And yeah, I started taking all these classes and delved down this whole rabbit hole journey of spirituality. And now here I am today, considering myself a subject matter expert. We'll use the term subject matter expert because there was some controversy over me calling myself a professional. So we're an expert. Yeah, we're a spiritual expert. We know some stuff. We tapped in, we pick up things. So yeah, sorry guys, I'm just gonna check my notes here so I make sure that I stay on task. So yeah, started taking all these different classes and it was very intriguing, very interesting, all sorts of stuff happening. And I want to remind you guys while I go through my notes here, I apologize. All right, so yeah, we delved down our spiritual path. I want to take a moment and remind you that your spiritual journey is your own. Nobody can tell you how your journey happens. Your journey is your own personal experience. So if you ever come across a teacher who tells you there is only one specific path or there is only one way to do things, do not listen to them because this universe is endless, infinite. There are numerous various ways to connect and tap in and do whatever it is that you feel called to do. So never, ever let anybody tell you there is only one proper way to do things, because there isn't. The only way to do things is the way that resonates with you. So while you're on your journey, guys, you are going to have some experiences through this period where you might find teachers that don't always resonate with you. You know, sometimes you might take a class and you might be really excited about it, but then you find out it's kind of like, maybe this works, maybe this doesn't work for me. I know when I was starting out, I was like a sponge. I wanted to learn everything that I could possibly learn. I wanted to absorb all I could possibly absorb. And I just went on this whole rabbit hole journey of like, okay, what is this? And what is that? And I want to know about this. And I want to learn everything that I can possibly learn. So I, one weekend, took this series of classes with this lady who came in from out of town, and everybody was like, oh, it's her, and she's such a big deal, and how special she is. And so I was really psyched for this weekend. This was a thing where she did this speech thing on Friday, and then she did another thing on Saturday, and then there was a class that happened on Sunday. So Friday night, she's doing her little speech thing. She's talking about her amazing book and how the angels helped her write this book. And I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm excited. She's talking this up, and I'm just, I'm a newbie here. So I'm just like, wide-eyed, super excited, like, oh my God, tell me more. Tell me more. I can't wait for you to even, like, what else are you going to talk about today? Because I'm so excited and I'm so on board. And we get done with the event, and she's like, I've got some of my books with me. And of course, I had to buy her book, because she just got done talking about how amazing the book is and all the parts of the book. And there's this guy who's just like raving about her in the back of the room. And it was like, oh, okay, well, I need to buy this book. There's not that many copies, so I got to get one. So of course I buy the book, and I buy the little affirmation magnet that she made that you want to stick on your fridge and say every day. Because I'm like, I'm on board with this. I am jumping in 100%. I'm going to read this affirmation every day. I'm going to read this book. I am so on board with this. So I'm super psyched. We do the event on Saturday. Still super psyched. Sunday comes. And this was like the day that I was most looking forward to, because this was her psychic development class. And I was like, ooh, okay. Psychic development class. This is going to be awesome. I'm feeling tapped in. I can't wait to see what she's going to teach me that I haven't been learning from my other people that I've been working with. So we start class, and I'm going to preface this by saying, first off, there's an odd number of us in the room. So when we have to pair up to read each other, one of us has to end up reading with her. And at the start of class, she was kind of going off on how she's so high vibrational. I am just so high vibrational. And people ask me all the time to trade readings with them. And I just don't trade with anybody because they just can't read me. I'm so high vibrational. Nobody can read me. Nobody can tap in and pick up anything off of me. So of course, this was like, oh, well, challenge accepted on my part. I was like, no, I'm going to pick up something for her. I hope she picks me, because I know I can pick up something for her. And so we start pairing off. And at one point, she matches up with me. And I was like, yes, I'm excited now, because I get to tap in and I get to read for her. And then so I'm sitting and I'm kind of tuning in, and I start singing the song, He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. And I don't know where the song is coming from. It's just dropped into my field of awareness, just like everything, You hear things, you feel things, you sense things, you see things. You never know how Spirit's going to give you the message. But I told her, like, I'm hearing this song for you. And I started singing it. And she stares at me, a mouth just agape, like, how did you like, nobody reads me. Like, how dare I read her? Because nobody can read her. She's too high vibrational. And I clearly am not at her level, but apparently she can be read. She's not as unreadable as she claims to be. Or perhaps I'm of a higher vibration than I give myself credit for, which I think probably was a case of both things on either side. But Guys, you are going to have crazy experiences. You're going to have teachers that you're sometimes going to jive with, and sometimes it's going to be kind of like, Because this lady, well, I was all excited that whole weekend. I decided to take another class from her later on when she came back to town. And this class was all about finding your hunka burning love. This is all about finding your person. And I was excited. I was like, all right, well, I still haven't found my person yet. For the record, I still haven't found my person. But if you are out there, sir, please make your presence known, because, it's getting a little lonely over here on this path all by myself. But I digress. Basically, she started regurgitating literally every single thing that she said in the whole weekend of psychic development class. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with finding love. And every now and then I would kind of suggest something that she should talk about to these girls in the room who I don't think have ever experienced her. And then she'd look at me like, how dare you? How dare you bring up my stuff and try to get me to say my things? Excuse me? I was making suggestions. I was trying to participate in class. But yeah, it turns out she's not who I thought she was. So sometimes you're going to have teachers where you jive for a little while and things don't work out in the end. Or they work out for a time period and then you outgrow them. Because guys, I'm going to tell you, you can outgrow your teachers. You can outgrow even your spirit guides that work with you. We have different guides that come in and help us during various things. And then we have guides that are kind of always there in the background helping us. And even them sometimes we outgrow. Because I know when I was starting out, I got to a point on my journey where one of my guides came to me and she's like, look, you have to release me. I'm holding you back at this point. You are beyond the capacity of how I can work with you. And probably the easiest way to describe this for my US audience, you'll probably better understand. But this would be like you starting kindergarten. So in the United States, we start kindergarten is usually your first year of school. Some do preschool. But kindergarten is like your first official school grade that you start with. And eventually you work your way up to 12th or senior in high school. And sometimes your guides are like a kindergarten teacher. They're there to get you started, there to motivate you, there to teach you your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s. And then at some point, you're going to know your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s, and then you got to move on to something stronger or harder or more academically challenging. And so that spirit guide passes you off to another guide who teaches you something new. So teachers can shift, evolve, and change. Some help you out for a period of time, and then you learn something from them, and then you move on to someone else. Same thing with spirit guides. Definitely wanted to cover that here with you guys. Oh, okay. I wanted to talk a little bit again about my friend Neil, because Neil shared something with me on my journey starting out, and I think you guys need to hear this too. And that is that this isn't happening to you. This is happening for you to learn and grow from. So anytime that you're on this journey, I want you to remind yourself that this isn't happening to me. I don't need to be freaking out over everything. I mean, yeah, sometimes you're going to have some crazy scenarios. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night and there's a portal open on the wall in front of you and some little hobbit dude jumps out of it. And then you look at the end of the bed and there's this little alien at the end of the bed. But that's a story for another podcast episode. But I'm saying you're going to have these crazy moments like what I just described to you. And you're going to have to tell yourself, this isn't happening to me. This is happening so I can learn and grow from this. So I can look at moving on from this. Because, guys, when you jump down the rabbit hole of spirituality, you are going to go take a deep dive. And at some point, you're going to find yourself sitting at the table with the Mad Hatter and the hare and drinking tea and just laughing about all the crazy, weird ass things that are going on around you or happening to you. So many things, so many crazy things that will happen on this journey. I apologize, guys. I'm going to scroll through my notes. I tried to not read verbatim and keep this conversational with you guys because That's what this should be. This should be conversational. This should be fun. Okay. I am so far ahead of my notes. Okay. So we're going to go over a few key points that I want you guys to focus on during your awakening process. First, most important step, do not ever forget this, and that is never force anything. Maybe you want your kundalini to rise, your third eye to open, whatever the situation is. Do not try to force yourself to do something that you are not ready for. Because if you try to force something to happen, you are only going to get mad at yourself, or you are going to jump down into a spiritual psychosis. And we do not need you ending up in the loony bin, in the mental hospital. We do not need you getting so freaked out by this that you shun your whole spiritual path. I don't want anybody to go down that road. People have done it. Take my advice. Never force anything. Allow things to open organically. Just like the petals of a flower slowly open and bloom and grow. That's how your spiritual journey should be. So, never force anything, guys. If you want to encourage things to happen, there's nothing wrong with that. So, as an example, when I was starting out on my spiritual journey, I was really wanting my third eye to open. I was like, I want to be tapped in. I want to pick up everything that I can pick up. Like I said, I was absorbing everything like a sponge. So, what I would do is I would listen to binaural beats for the third eye. And that is what I would tune in and turn on when I go to sleep at night. So I would find some binaural beats and I would play them as I was falling asleep. So I was gently prompting my third eye to open while I was going to sleep at night. So listening to the binaural beats, very great, gentle way to navigate and say, hey, third eye, guess what? I want to connect with you. Can you open up a little bit for me so I can see a few things, so I can feel a few things, sense, hear, whatever your clairs are. That would be another episode talking about the clairs, because we could spend a whole lot of time talking about the clairs. So yeah, starting your journey, never force anything. Very, very important. Second, I don't want you to overexert yourself. This journey can be challenging. This can be mentally draining. You can have things happen to you, and we're not even going to jump into the whole shadow work aspect of when your spirit team suddenly gives you a tower moment and world seems to be crashing down around you. The point is, don't overexert yourself. So I know when you start out, you're super excited. You're like, oh, I want to learn tarot, and I want to learn Reiki, and I want to do this thing over here, and oh my gosh, Ho'opono, that sounds so cool. How do I tap in to do all of this? Don't sign up for everything and try to learn everything all at once, because you're going to overwhelm yourself. Like if we look at tarot as an example, there are 78 tarot cards, and each card has an upright and a reverse meaning. Are you going to sit here and tell me that you're going to be able to devote all your time, energy, and attention into learning all 78 cards, front and back, upright and reverse, while also learning all of the symbols and how to move energy with Reiki as an example? Are you going to be able to feel yeah, I can do my regular job, I can have my spiritual work, I can do all of this all at the same time? I'm going to tell you, you're going to get overwhelmed, and then you're going to get upset, and then you're probably going to want to throw in the towel because it's going to be too much for you. So do not overexert yourself. Take it one thing at a time, one day at a time, one meditation at a time, whatever it takes for you guys. Just don't push yourself. Don't push yourself too far, because it's just going to stress you out. And then you might end up in that spiritual psychosis we were talking about. And we don't want that. We do not want that. I also want to remind you guys to only work at a level that feels comfortable for you. Work at your own pace, okay? Some people, they're going to be gifted and talented. They're going to be like, oh, this is so easy, and everything just comes to them. And everything's going to click. And then you're going to get mad at yourself because, oh, Miss Susie Q over here has her third eye fully awake and she's tapping into things, and I want to be Susie Q. Okay, well, we're not all Susie Q, okay? Not all of us are. Some of us are going to work at a slower pace. Some of us aren't ready for the things that we want to experience yet. So we need to go within, and we maybe need to meditate and talk with our spirit team and say, hey, what do I need to do to be Miss Susie Q? What do I need to do to get where I want to go? But work at your own pace, guys. There is no set schedule with this. The only set schedule that you have is the schedule that you have with yourself. So tapping in, focusing on you, tuning in and doing what you need to do for yourself, and allowing yourself to bloom and grow in whatever way works for you. That's what you need to focus on. So don't sit here and watch what everybody else is doing. Focus on what you're doing. And what can you do every day to work on taking better care of yourself, improving yourself, walking on a path that resonates and works for you? Because everybody's journey is unique and special and is only theirs. Nobody can tell you who you are, what you're about. You get to make those choices. So remember that. Work at your own pace. Work at your own pace. Now, to kind of wrap up our conversation here today, I did want to wrap things up with a meditation. I love this meditation. This was a meditation that I learned early on my spiritual journey, and I think everybody should do this meditation every single day. It literally takes you all of 2 minutes. You can't tell me you don't have 2 minutes in your day to meditate. I mean, at some point you got to use the bathroom. So you could do this while you're sitting in the bathroom. You can do this while you're sitting at your desk at work. You can do this while you're, well, probably not while you're on your way to work unless you're taking mass transit and somebody else is driving. But we're going to do this quick meditation. And speaking of driving, if you're in the car right now listening to this, please do not join us for this meditation. I do not need you swerving off into the distance somewhere and injuring yourself or wrecking your car or hurting someone else. So only do this meditation when you are perfectly still and can focus your time and energy. So if you are sitting here with me and maybe laying down, you're comfortable, whatever, I want you guys to join me in closing your eyes. And I want you to take a deep breath in. And we're going to hold it for the count of 4. And release. And let's take one more deep breath in for me. And while you're holding this for the count of 4, I want you to think of all the things that are stressing you out. Find any residual tension in your body. And as we exhale, I want you to release it all out. Let it go. Let it go. And now take a moment, and I want you to visualize there is bright white light streaming down from the top of your head. And if you were to look up towards this light, you cannot see where it starts and you cannot see where this light ends. And I want you to visualize this light coming through the top of your head, going down your spine, going all the way down your legs, out through your feet. And I want you to see it going into the ground and growing deep into the earth, like the roots of a tree. And I want you to send this light as far into the center of the earth as you can. And while we're sitting here in this beautiful energy, I want you to think of all the stuff that is stressing you out, all the things that you want to release and let go of. Because we're going to send all of that down the roots of this beautiful white light into the center of the earth so it can get transmuted and leave our energy field. So I'm going to give you guys a moment. Think about all the things you want to let go of. Who do you want to release from your life? What are the things that you want to move on from? What are maybe personal struggles you have that you want to be free of? Whatever you want to let go of, send it down the light into the earth to be transmuted. And when you're done sending all your things down into the center of the earth, I want you to visualize leaving just a little bit of light under your feet and bring the rest of this light over into a beautiful bubble around your heart. And I want you to leave a little bit of that light above your head and bring the rest of it to join the other bubble around your heart. And we're going to take this beautiful bubble of white light and we are going to expand it all around us. So just like Glinda the Good Witch in The Wizard of Oz, we are surrounded in this beautiful bubble of white light. And if you're having a stressful day, or you tend to be around people who are a little bit negative or sometimes send little attacky things your way, we're going to surround ourselves in this beautiful bubble of white light. And on the outside of this white light, I want you to put up your disco ball mirror. So we're going to surround our outside of our bubble with a disco ball. And think about all those little tiny mirrors. And anytime somebody tries to send something your way that's not positive, that's not helpful to you in any way, shape, or form, I want you to remind yourself that it bounces right off those mirrors and it gets reflected right back at who's sending it to you. So, got your disco ball mirrors. And if you want to put the disco ball and have it start spinning around, by all means do that, guys. This is your thing. But I want you to take a moment and I want you to set the intention that the only thing I'm allowing into my energy field at this time is what is positive, love, and light. Anything that's negative doesn't serve a purpose for me. Anything that is sent to try to sway me and take me down out of my beautiful bubble of light has been cleared and banished from my space. I am a sovereign being. I have freedom. And I get to choose how I act, how I react. This is my space. Nobody else's. And nobody gets to come and put their funky ass stank energy into my bubble of light. Because it's my bubble. And if you want to have some stank ass energy, you keep that stuff to yourself. I don't need to experience it. I don't need to receive it. So, put yourselves in that light. And when you're ready, guys, open up your eyes. Join me back here in the real world. And you guys can do this meditation anytime you wish. It takes you a couple minutes. I probably took longer because I kept describing things to you guys. But I'm just saying, you can do this meditation anytime you want to. It's here for you. So just close your eyes, take a deep breath in, visualize your white light, get yourself centered and balanced, let go of what you need to let go of. And you're going to find when you start doing this more consistently, your whole world is going to change. You're going to feel more positive. You're going to feel more tapped in and connected. And you're going to feel like you've got freedom again, freedom to move and do whatever it is that you need to do. So on that note, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming and spending this time with me today. It is always an honor and a privilege to get to spend some time with all of you beautiful souls. If any of you are looking at getting some advice and guidance for yourself, maybe you want to figure out how to go down your own spiritual path. Maybe you need some help and guidance with things going on in your life, or you need some clarity on how you should move forward. I am here for you guys. I do offer one-on-one sessions. You can go to my website to book your own personal appointment. I am also frequently over on the TikTok. Also, sometimes go live on other platforms. But if you guys want to come hang out, usually live on TikTok, I would say Tuesday through Sunday. Monday is my day to myself. That is my me day. But Tuesday through Sunday, I usually do a live feed over on TikTok, typically between 10 and 11 p.m. Central Time. But sometimes I bop in during the day as well, just to come hang out and say hi. So come, stop by, see us, hang out, share some good vibes, listen to some good music. And if you guys want some one-on-one time with me, you can go to my website and book an appointment. And I don't know how frequently at this point I will be sharing podcasts with you, My plan at the moment is to try to do it every 2 weeks, possibly weekly. We'll see if the ideas keep flowing. But our next episode, guys, that we're going to be doing, this coming episode, will be all about how self-love is not selfish. How self-care is not selfish. So we're going to talk all about that here on our next episode. So thank you guys again for your time, your energy, and your attention today. And I'm so looking forward to seeing you guys again very, very soon.